For today's exercise, you are going to be tracing a cityscape using Google Draw. And there's some examples that are going to be included of what it's going to look like. So here is a city that I drew. I still need to color it in, but that's based on another illustration that I used to trace. And we're going to show you how to do that today. Here's another one over here. And even if I put this one to the back, you can kind of see how it's built even. All of those are different pieces. But I didn't have to come up with it. We're just tracing a design that already exists. So I'm going to show you how to do that today. All right, so let's say that you've chosen to use this cityscape, and this is what you're going to be tracing. So what I would do is make sure you get your Polyline tool out and start thinking about beginning at the back. So your Polyline tool is located next to your shape tool in the drop-down menu. And since each shape that we create lies on top of the other one, if we work from the back forward, we're going to have an easier time. So first I'll start with this tower and just a simple square that's going to make up the shape of this tower. Right? Now the problem is, of course, it's going to cover up the other shapes I need to make. So I can see through it, I'm going to take this fill, and it should be available to you. There's a somewhat transparent green. If not, you can make your own custom color, and you don't have to use green. Let's say that you really want to use purple. You could pick a purple color, and then down here where it says transparency, bring it down about halfway. That way you can see through it, but you can still see what you're doing as well. Click OK. And now you can see that this block is something I can see through. So now I can start thinking about adding more shapes to it. So I'm going to click the Polyline tool again. And for this assignment, we're not worrying about a crazy amount of detail. You want to get the basic details in. But if you don't get all the detail, every detail in, we're not going to worry too much about it. One example might be the semicircle here. It's going to be very difficult to get this correct in Google Draw, so don't stress about that. Same thing with these kind of tower shapes here. You don't need to worry about getting those perfect because you really can't with this tool. If you can, you get extra credit because you're amazing. So I'll just finish building out this tower real quick. Oh, I made a mistake. Control Z. So to avoid making mistakes like that, it's a good idea to zoom in. To zoom in, you want to hit Control, Alternate, and plus. That's going to let you get a better look at what you're doing. Get that Polyline tool again. And then start just adding my shapes. So that tower's looking pretty close. If I want to get really technical, you could go the extra mile, make a circle that way. But again, it's not totally necessary. And I'll use my custom shape that I've made so that I can still see through it. Now my next shape to the right anyway is going to be the square shape. And then this wall. And then this flat facing wall, and I'm going past the line because I know that my next shape is going to overlap it. So I'm trying to use overlaps to my advantage. Oh, I just noticed that the I'm not doing transparent, so I'll switch that. Doesn't really matter for the others, so I don't really need to fix it. And again, this shape is going to get overlapped, so I'm not going to stress over that too much. Oh, although I should have because of that wall. All right, so there I've made poor choice. So I'm going to double click, free up these nodes, pull that up. Now we're looking good. Continue on with my next shape. That's complete. And notice how it's overlapping. It gets a little bit darker. That's because if something that's 75% transparent crosses over something else that's 75% transparent, you're going to get to that 100% pretty quick. Store. Control Alt minus to pull out a little bit. And again, we're limited here. So since I can't make a perfect curve, I'm just going to kind of approximate it with a couple clicks here. That shape. And once I have things outlined, I can go back and I can start picking other colors. Oops. Mistake there. Okay, there we go. So maybe I went, and similar with the blocks in the last one, you might want to think about doing two tones. And you can pick any color you want. You're not limited to the colors here that are on this palette. If you hit plus and you go with the custom color, you can get tones that might be a little bit more realistic for this scene. So I'd go into kind of the orangey brown territory. Make sure that my transparency is brought up. Hit OK. And then maybe here, I want to pick almost the same color, but I can click on it and then I can customize it again and it'll make a new one. I'll make that one a little bit lighter. And then just repeat that. And pick something different there. And again, there's not really right or wrong here. This is just a place where you get to kind of play and experiment. You're painting your own town. Now this I would actually put back as translucent because I still need to get these shapes, but that's the process that you're going to want to go through. All right, so at this point, just about halfway done. And then you would just do the same thing on the other side.